Hey there, horror movie tea sippers.
The following podcast episode will contain spoilers for the movie we are about to review. If you have not seen the movie and do not wish to have anything ruined prematurely, please do not continue to watch or listen until you have seen the movie.
And welcome to the Horror Movie Tea Podcast. It's Halloween! Well,
It's spoopy season!
It's spoopy season, and it's a few days before my birthday.
Yeah.
I'm old. But before we go down that rabbit hole, let's grab our cups and talk about tea.
We are both drinking the same tea. It is
Yes.
from Brutalities, and it is tiramisu. It has black tea, toasted yerba mate, red rooibos, cocoa nibs, dark chocolate nibs, which contain soy lecithin, marigold flowers, black magic, English walnut, dark roast coffee beans, natural chocolate, hazelnut, and almond flavors.
And we are all sorts of fans today because we've got Halloween. We got Michael, always a good, fun guest. Got Gerald, the rainbow skeleton. We got, I guess I'll call him Phil. I haven't really thought of a name for him yet. We've got everybody. And then we also have a bleeding candle that we are actually lighting this time. So if this podcast episode doesn't come out, you know that it burned down the house. And then, yeah, have you thought of a name yet?
We've got Steve.
Steve.
I crocheted him the other day.
Yeah, just brought him over this morning, and I was losing my mind. He got little nibs and for arms, and they're just so cute. I love it. But yes. But it's spoopy season. So, for our tea sippers, brew yourself a cup of tea, sit back, relax, and we hope you enjoy the review. We obviously like Halloween, in case you didn't guess. Yes. So, the official name of the movie is Hell House LLC 3 Lake of Fire, which, if you remember the previous found footage ones we've done, the first one, we really liked. The second one, I don't remember if you liked that one, but I know I liked it less.
Yeah.
But I
liked it.
How they expanded it. So, for the summary of the third one, it follows a TV crew investigating the haunted Abaddon Hotel. As they prepare for a live show, they uncover dark forces and the sinister truth behind the hotel's horrors. So horrific. So for entertainment, the movie definitely isn't as strong as the others. The scares don't really bring a whole lot new to the table, but I did still enjoy the scares.
Yeah.
There weren't any that I was like, oh, come on, but like they still kept the creepiness, but because we have seen it with the other two movies, it was just like less like impactful.
Yeah.
So I give it a 7. Like, this is a decent movie. I would watch it again, but honestly, I really like the first one. The first one, that's what really showed me how scary found footage movies could be. Like, that one is truly terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
So, the scenes that I liked is I did enjoy the clown one where, like, she gets dared to go in the basement and kiss a clown or tap it on its nose, and then she decided to go a little bit further and kiss it. Yeah. And having the clown, like, turn his head and then follow her. That was a whole...
Well, your stomach drops initially because the camera crew had gone down there earlier in the day and there were only 2.
Yes, yeah.
So when she walks down there and the third one's there, you're like, oh no.
Yeah. I mean, we know what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That same clown thing was in both of the others.
Yes.
So
Yeah, we know what's up.
we know. We see it and we're like, oh, no, automatically.
Yeah. But I did like the white hallway with all of, like, the angels or whatever.
Heaven. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did like the hello, ladies. That's fun. But I will say the scares for that one were really, I mean, not... I enjoyed them. Like I did get some creep factor there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the one with the black eyes, the demon that was standing there in all white.
Yeah. Like at first, completely normal mannequin, and then all of a sudden, not.
And it's one of those subtle scares that they just show and don't bring attention to in the background when they turn their head slowly to look. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, that's not one of the mannequins.
Yes. Which, this movie continues to do well, like the other ones, where they're not necessarily... Yes, there are some jump scares. But they also recognize that just having something eerie or something changing in the background is really effective, too. And so they've continued to do that. But, I'm not going to rehash it too much. But just, like I said... Since the other two movies have already done very similar scares, this one didn't really bring a whole lot new to the table. But I'm not going to say that I didn't enjoy it. Like I did enjoy the movie. Mm-hmm. And I do think that the storyline that they came up with seemed fresh again. Like it kind of seemed... Well, I mean, they're always going to go back to the Abaddon Hotel.
Well, yeah.
But as far as, like, the reasoning on, like, why they were coming back to it, I was like, okay, that's believable without making it seem like... I don't know. It was a decent enough storyline. But... Yeah. I will say the characters aren't too memorable with this one. And
they kind of blended together.
They blended together, and also some of the characters almost seemed like rehashes of like the first one. Like especially when they were in the attic.
Yeah. And
they were like finding out like, yeah, it's just like I'm like, oh, this is like a copy and paste of what's happened before. So
I don't know if they meant to do that, like a history repeating itself over and over kind of thing or what, but...
Yeah, they definitely didn't make it clear, though.
Yeah, they did call attention to a lot of the similarities.
Yeah.
A couple of times, but...
Yeah, it's just kind of difficult to say, though.
It's just a little redundant.
Yeah. So, yeah, like, I feel like this is one that you probably would be fine skipping, because... Especially, I mean, the second one I can see recommending just because it expands more on the lore and it gives you a lot more information. This one doesn't really. It's just like giving you like additional, like, it's just kind of like going back to like what we saw in the second movie.
Yeah, it's just more of the same.
Yeah, yeah. I know a part of the reason why we wanted to do this is because the fourth one has come out and we're kind of super jazzed about that and really want to see it. So really we're just going through all of the movies so we have an excuse to review that one. So that one,
I mean, like,
hopefully we don't...
Each time we find a series like this and we're so excited for the next one even though we like tear apart the one before it.
Yeah.
Like usually after the first one we're like, this one's not as good. Next one, this one's definitely not as good. Next one, this really isn't as good.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's
like it's been a long enough period of time that they could maybe make it come back and feel fresh, but we'll have to see. Yeah. Hopefully we don't wait until next year to see it. But
no.
We'll definitely maybe review it next year.
Yes.
Because it's Hell House. It's a Halloween movie.
We gotta.
But yeah.
We gotta.
That's what I got for entertainment.
I personally give it a 6.5. I did enjoy it for the most part, but I didn't enjoy it near as much as the first two. I did like the second one. The first one, of course, was the best. But this one, I feel like they actually could have gone a little harder in the scares and the creepy atmosphere. Mm-hmm. I feel like because they weren't staying there, it wasn't quite as tense, which I get. And they were trying to be more intelligent about it, which I do appreciate, but they keep mentioning all these things that are happening even during the day while they're there, and we're hardly seeing any of it. So it just feels a little bit lackluster compared to the other two.
Yeah.
I do like how they kept the styles. My brain is just going way farther than my mouth is at the time. I like how they kept the style of the first two films where there's like interviews spliced with footage. And they do, in this movie, use silence to great effect. Mm-hmm. I love how the vast majority of their scares, they don't call attention to.
Yeah.
It's not a big noise and a jump scare.
Yeah.
It's something in the background that you could easily miss. So when you see it, you're like, oh, crap.
Yeah. I mean, one that isn't necessarily, well, no, it's just not subtle, but isn't like jump scare, is with the lamp. And the lights going out and going. That one was good. That one was
that was good.
Yeah, that one was good.
That one was good. My stomach dropped when that was happening. I was like, oh no. And then the hand, you see the hand coming out of the darkness around his face. You're like, oh, he's going to die.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he didn't. And then you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, another one that was really good that my stomach also dropped too was seeing all the dead people standing behind her silently.
Yeah, that's pretty creepy. And I do like, I like how the scares don't always mean death.
Yeah.
So it's like
it just hikes up the tension.
Yeah, it's like it's scary because you're not really sure what's going to happen.
You don't know when someone is going to die. I both hate and love that they brought the demon-possessed clown back. I hate the thing, but he brings some good scares.
Yes, yeah. That's where I'm at, too.
I both hate and love it. They were very inconsistent with, like, a lot of their rules. They said a few times that they have a buddy system, that they instituted a buddy system, and everybody's supposed to go somewhere with someone. Like, they're supposed to be working on the set and everything with at least one other person. And they ignore that frequently in this movie.
Yes.
So frequently. To the point where I'm sitting here like, are you sure you have a buddy system? I don't think y'all know what that means.
Yeah.
You keep using that word. I don't think you know what it means. They could have done better with certain effects. Like the scar on the guy's face.
Yeah.
That was clearly effect. And not as well done as they could have.
Yeah.
And not as good as what we know they're capable of. Because a lot of their other effects are really well done.
The practical ones.
Yeah, the practical effects.
Yeah.
They're really well done.
The
but
that we should, though.
yeah.
Always.
Thankfully, they usually move the camera at the same time, so it's a little less obvious.
Yeah, yeah.
But the scarring on the dude's face, especially during certain scenes where the lighting is like right on it, you're like, oh, sweetie. Mm-hmm. That could have been done better. The reporter wasn't very consistent with her personality throughout the show. For someone who is very, very reluctant to even go into the hotel, for example, when the camera guy left to get something and the hallway light and sound came on, she went and investigated pretty damn quick. So for someone who was very adamant about, I don't think I even want to walk in there, she gets into it very, very quickly. And I know she's supposed to be an investigative journalist and all, but it kind of goes against what she had already established in her character.
Yeah. Yeah, like they could have had it happen to someone else, or they could have like had some sort of dialogue or something with her, be like, "Me and I really don't want to do this, but I have to." Or,
Hesitate
or
a bit more.
Yeah, just have some sort of like in between transition to explain why she's like, "Okay, let's go."
And obviously, earlier in the movie and in movies past, the entities in the house don't have a problem speaking. So she could have heard a voice down the hall and thought it was one of the crew members or her camera guy or something, and thought, okay, someone's just messing with me, or maybe they need help or something. They're just testing something. Let me go look.
That would have been a really good way to like motivate her to go in, because especially if she is like, okay guys, that's enough, and then she hears them and is convinced that it's them and that it's not.
And then she goes and looks like, why are you trying to prank me? Did you think I was someone else? They could have done that better, and it made her character inconsistent. The gaslighting in this movie made me irrationally angry and really took me out of the movie-going experience. I know movies got a movie for certain things, but come on. Really? Seriously? You're gonna go there? Especially when they have evidence of the stuff happening.
Yeah.
Really? I feel like that wasn't necessary at all. So, it just... There are certain things about this movie that obviously are flawed. It's not as scary or not as thick with tension as the other two movies, so I also think this one could be skipped. It's alright, and it does try to tie up some loose ends of the other ones. It just falls a little short. Personally.
I need you to try the tea. Because
you're just sitting here waiting for me. Like,
I don't know how to feel about it.
It reminds me a lot of their Back in Black.
It's very bitter. Well, not it's like dark. Like, you know how like dark roast or whatever? Like that's kind of what it well, yes.
Has.
Yeah.
It also has dark chocolate and things like that in it. I feel like it would benefit from a little bit of sugar or a sweet creamer.
Yeah, because I feel like it's just not carrying very well by itself. Like, it smells pretty good, but I don't really get a lot of different layers of flavor. But yeah, that's actually a really good idea, mixing it with like some sort of like cream, especially if it's, and like maybe chocolate syrup a little bit.
To be fair, we also let it steep for like 10 minutes or so.
Fair, but I feel like we should get more layers of flavor. But
I do feel like we get a bit more scent notes than flavor notes in it.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yep, that's my
Creamer
only
would do it good.
Yeah, that's my only complaint with Brutalities. I will just put out there is sometimes it is pretty flavorful and it does taste really freaking good. And then other times it smells really good, but then not quite there.
You don't get all of the flavor notes that you think you should.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's hard to, let's see, I'm just out of curiosity. Okay, so it does have coffee beans, so that makes sense. I wonder also if we didn't steep it at high enough temperature, because we did it at 175 and it says 195.
Yeah.
So that might be it.
It might have been a little bit.
It could have been user error. But anyways, I just wanted to get your
I feel like
opinion.
a vanilla or a hazelnut creamer.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Anyway. That's what we got for entertainment and tea.
Tea break. Oh, realism.
I'm just seeing the blank page next to me.
Oh, shush. You know, sometimes, I will say, sometimes I'm more viewer than podcaster, and I just want to sit and enjoy the movie, and I'll just worry about it later.
I understand that.
And that was very much me for these batch of movies.
But on the other hand, you should probably take some of your ADHD meds before you watch them.
But I don't have any, and I don't even...
that would be a problem, wouldn't it? Anyway.
Realism.
What you gonna give it?
I am going to say a 2, I think. Because, like, first, like, you know, honestly, I didn't really connect the dots too hard with you talking about the reporter and her, like, conflict of personality and action. But that definitely calls to the attention of, like, you know, they should have, like, filled it in a little bit more. So just going based off of what we know, the character motivation and cases for pause are, I think that that kind of knocks it down. Also, the premise is a little bit shaky because they were going to, like, demolish it. And that was a part of the motivation of them being like, oh, well, we need to do this now. Otherwise, there's not going to be anything left.
Well, he bought it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
So
because he bought it because it... Yeah.
Though they still could have fought harder and had it condemned.
Yeah, well, that was kind of where I was going with it, is if it had gotten to a point where they were thinking of demolishing it, because keep in mind, it's cheaper to just leave stuff standing there. So if they are willing to spend the money to potentially have it demolished, that means that there's been, you know, a lot of people going inside, potential, you know, lawsuits and liability, things like that. So I feel like they probably, to your point, would have tried to condemn it or had it fenced off or something.
They did have it fenced off.
Well, I meant, like, more prevention.
More secure.
Yeah, more secure. Security.
Security.
But yeah, just a little bit more in place to, like, yeah. Anyways. I mean, technically the guy's injury, like the cause of the injury, even though it didn't look very realistic.
That made sense.
Yeah.
It was a car accident, so.
Yeah.
You know.
But,
anything could happen in a car accident.
yeah. But I will say that, the girl's reaction in the basement to seeing a clown pop up with her on the stairs screaming.
I took a small issue with the fact that it took her so long to run.
Yeah, because she's almost, like, paralyzed with fear in a way.
But she's still moving and, like, watching the camera and everything. So, like, freaking move.
Yeah.
Ha! But I know everybody has a different reaction, so I only took off a little for that. It's just annoying.
Yeah, but that did feel more like a movie's got a movie moment.
It did.
In a lot
it
of
really
ways.
did. It feels like they were trying to extend the scare a little bit when they didn't necessarily need to. It was already scary.
Yeah. Yep.
Fair, though, when she finally did run.
Yeah. Yep.
Also, girl's got a set of lungs on her.
Mm-hmm. That's what I got.
It's hard to judge this kind of movie because you have to set so much aside. But I feel like a 2 is reasonable, for sure. I feel like with as many issues as that place had, it should have been demolished sooner, but also the place has been standing for how long with no one tending it? Like, how is it not completely termite ridden? and rotting and falling down. They already said there was asbestos. Like, there are so many things wrong with that place that it should have already collapsed, to be honest.
Yeah. Which they really didn't seem to mind too much with the fact that it has asbestos.
Yeah.
Like, no,
let's not repair that or get rid of it.
Or have, like, any, like, level of protection gear.
Yeah.
You're just like, this is fine.
This totally fine. This is normal. This is whatever. Again, it's hard to judge. There's so many things that happen scare-wise. There are things they can't explain, but they also don't really get any of it on film for the most part. They get some pictures here and there, but she doesn't, like, show it to them necessarily or come to them with concerns, the makeup artist chick, before she quits. So, but I know there is a lot of gaslighting, and I know that in a situation like this, there's a lot of money that's going into this project, and they don't want to consider it a total loss. And of course, he has a different motivation of wanting to close the gate and all, which I'll get to later. But it just seems like they're really forcing it.
Yeah.
They're really forcing the issue. Also, I feel like there would have been more turnover in a job like that, because even offering them double pay, like, you're still not most likely going to get paid until, like, the end of the project.
Yeah.
That's usually how things like that work, from my understanding. I could be wrong, and some projects may be different, but in that kind of situation where you're fearing for your life, I feel like that still wouldn't be enough. Like, it's not worth it. Not worth it, especially when there have already been people that have gone missing and or killed. Yeah. So obviously it's not a great situation. It's not safe, and you're seeing things already. So this is a problem, and I feel like a lot more people would have been like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm out."
Yep.
You see something and be like, "And I'm out. I'm out. Bye." Nice knowing you guys. I'll see you on the news later. Again, with the buddy system, they keep mentioning it over and over, but they hardly ever show it. They hardly ever show it. Makeup artist chick gets left to herself, and then she goes toward the creepy blood-covered person when she's already terrified. As the makeup artist, she should know that that's not someone that she worked on. Which means there's a bigger problem. And I feel like it went against her character to go towards that person as well, like investigate it. So, no. Also, surprised she lived, because no one really died until opening night, which also went against the last two movies. Like, there were people disappearing. We know they were killed, but they disappeared before opening night. And it was a problem for the rest of the crew. Like, this person up and left, they thought, and now they have to replace them. Yeah. Which I initially thought, when I first watched this movie, that that's what was going to be the case with makeup artist chick. And then potentially the designer guy with the testing of the lamps. I'm like, well, they're going to have to replace him now. But no, he was fine, which demons are very wishy-washy on this movie. Just saying. Again, they could have done better with the dude's scar on his face. The inconsistencies with different characters' personalities and what they would do kind of grates a little bit. There's a lot of forcing of different scenes and things, and I feel like most of their budget for scares especially went towards the end. the ending itself feels like it falls short. Like he's supposed to be an angel that closed the gate.
Yeah.
And it seemed very, very quick and a little kind of like they cheesed it.
Like
just a little
easy,
bit.
a little
Yeah,
too
it
easy.
felt way too easy and too convenient. Because now all these people that had died, they're suddenly alive and were found in the field out back.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine and unharmed.
Yeah.
Like,
That makes the stakes less high.
it really does. It really does. And the tidbit at the very end of the Hell House team being there but trapped in the house, basically as spirits.
Yeah.
In a house that's already burned down, but seems perfectly fine in that footage, quote unquote. Pick a lane. Pick a lane. So, that's what I got for realism. Again, this one you could probably skip.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, but the first two are definitely worth
Oh,
the
yeah.
watch.
100%.
So,
This one, it's worth a watch. If you feel so inclined. I probably wouldn't give it much more than that.
but thank you for joining us today and let us know what you thought of the movie. If you'd like to recommend a movie, game, or tea, you can leave us a comment or join our Discord. And if you'd like to keep up to date with our content, you can find our link tree listed below.
If you'd like to support us monetarily, we have a Teespring and a PayPal, and you can find both of those sites mentioned in the link below. And until the next time, guys, stay safe and stay spoopy.
Bye.